Hello, and welcome to Paramera. I'm your host, Craig, with my co-host, Courtney.
Hello, everyone.
This will really be our first broadcast for Paramera.
Yes, it will be.
And I thought it would be good to start with one that we've been looking at for a while, and that is Little Compton, a town that a lot of people don't know about. But
truly, yeah, no one really knows about Little Compton. This was actually my first time hearing about it when you sent me that email.
Yeah. So, for those of you who may not be aware, Little Compton is located in Rhode Island and appears to be a hub of activity for strange happenings, I guess is the best way we're going to phrase that right now.
Yeah.
So, some of the things that we're going to talk about here are strange objects in the sky.
Fireballs, the hovering orbs, the sound quakes, and then these mysterious stones in Wilbur Woods.
Yeah, exactly. So, what did you find out about
the fireball?
Yeah.
So the fireball in Little Compton was clearly something that happened for a long period of time, and this was something that people awoke to in the early morning hours on Tuesday, November 11th, 1890. Around 5 a.m. These people in Little Compton just woke up to see this massive fireball just in the sky.
Mm-hmm.
And this got the fire department's attention, and back then they had to get horses just all settled down just to get to one place to place with all the fire equipment. And the fact that other people they were waking up their neighbors, and there was just no fire. It was later reported that there was no fire or no even orb in the sky or fireball.
Yeah, it disappeared and nobody in the town saw it. So yeah. The long and short is the surrounding towns of Little Compton saw this huge bright light in the sky.
Yes.
And the town of Compton didn't see anything.
Yeah, pretty much.
So, which was really strange. And these firefighters and everybody thought they were headed to Little Compton to put out a blaze.
They thought Little Compton was on fire.
Yeah. And what I thought was interesting was the fact that it lasted so long. And that was what caught my curiosity. So I typically would say, they probably saw a meteor, a big flash in the sky, something like that. But in this particular case, it was something lingering in the sky that made them think something was happening there. And it was long enough that people in the towns were able to wake up their neighbors and say, hey.
Right. This is something big. Something's going on. Something's happening.
Yeah.
This is not normal.
Right. And then all of a sudden it was just gone. So,
it's gone it never happened.
Yeah.
And to Little Compton, it never did.
Yeah. Which I thought was really strange. And this is 1890. That was the other part. It made their news all over. But then it just kind of faded out because nobody knew what to do with it or what to say about it.
Right.
And as time has gone on, we have seen these same strange incidents. And it goes from 1890 to current day. And what's fascinating is that the names of what people describe it as have changed. So originally we were seeing orbs or fireballs in the sky.
Right.
And then it was changed to people started saying they were seeing these flying discs, flying machines, and finally settled on what today we call
UFOs, or unidentified flying objects.
Correct. And again, these incidences are still occurring in Little Compton.
Yeah.
And yet nobody seems to be going out there, taking a look, trying to figure out what's going on.
Yes, which is really weird because for people to be invested in supernatural experiences, no one goes out there or even no one knows about it.
Yeah.
Which is really odd because normally people would immediately head out there. And since it's been going on for about 200 years now, you'd think someone would go out there and investigate everything that's happened.
Yeah.
But no one does.
Yeah, and I think that has been one of the interesting things. Now, one thing to point out is that there is a military base very close by. But in all the incidences that have occurred around Little Compton, they have denied or said it wasn't them. And if we go back as far as the papers allow us or the history of the town allows us, in some of these cases, it wasn't even possible that it could have been a military base. And the base wasn't there to begin with in some of these cases. So there's a lot going on right there. The next thing, which I think you're more familiar with, is the sound quakes or the sky quakes. One of the two. Like they call it either a sound quake or a sky quake, depending.
Yes. These quakes, they would happen, 3 a.m, I think one person said, and it was just like a very loud boom. And today, these people who have heard these sound quakes or have had their houses even shake by them, this was like earth shaking waves of sound, basically. They have compared these to jets, like breaking the sound barrier, and they say, no, this is something different, which is very confusing and kind of shocking in a way, because if this is something different than maybe a jet breaking the sound barrier, then what could have caused this noise if the military has not said anything about this, like they're not doing it? What is going on?
Yeah. And that's one of the things that is important to point out is the military, again, has said, hey, we're not responsible for these sound quakes or whatever these loud booms are in the sky. And again, they go back almost 100 years.
Yeah, 100 to 200 years, yes.
Yeah. With people saying they've heard and seen these. And it's interesting that the way they describe them, shaking their house, and it's just this loud pop. So that is it's a pretty interesting phenomenon to be having around there.
Right.
Now, one thing also about Little Compton is that while we currently have, English settlers have taken over that land, it was originally Native American land, and it was used as a winter gathering ground.
Right.
For a group of Native Americans, and I would butcher the name, so I'm not going to say it.
So we will just refer to them as the Native Americans then.
Yeah. And within this area is a place called Wilbur Woods, and apparently this is exactly where these Native Americans would spend their winters. And they have these strange stone slabs. Some of them have been referred to as a mini Stonehenge.
Right. And with these Stonehenges, not only do the Native American people not know where they came from, but no one else in Little Compton knows where they came from either.
Yeah.
Which is very strange, to know about that.
Yeah. They've been there for hundreds and hundreds of years, some of these. And nobody has a clue why they're there, what they're there for, or what they do. But yet again, right around this same exact area, we have had a lot of basically UFO sightings. Let's just call it what it is. These bright lights, these UFOs, these weird noise, all in this one particular area. Now, another thing to just make mention of, the stones, some of them were put in place in the early 1900s by people for whatever reason. Nobody knows why.
Right. And this is very strange for people who have come to Little Compton or have lived there for maybe their entire lives, not knowing why the stones are there, not knowing when they were placed or why. And for them to just be making their own stone slabs and putting them there for an unknown reason is very strange for humans to do, especially since Little Compton is not a place where many people would visit, or it's not a tourist attraction in any way, and in no way, shape, or form are they advertising these stones.
Correct. Yeah. So there's really no good reason to have them out there.
Right.
So lots of weird things going on in Little Compton, but again, nobody seems to be talking about it or going there. Now, one thing that we did find when we were doing our research for this is that there's no haunted houses in Little Compton.
Right.
Even though this area has been settled for 200 years by basically the English and probably 1,000 before that by Native Americans, nobody has said that the woods, these Wilbur Woods, are haunted. Nobody says these houses are haunted.
Right.
There's nothing like that there.
It's just
nothing
normal.
Yeah.
Maybe too normal.
Yeah. It's really strange. So I thought that was something that we just couldn't find anything. And even when we reached out to local residents,
right,
they said the same thing. They're not aware of any, hauntings, or Wilbur Woods isn't known to be haunted at all.
Just a normal pair of woods.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
So there you have it. This is the first Paramera podcast, and it was on Little Compton. This is the information that we were able to gather. And if you have information, you can always reach out to us at paraamera@gmail.com, and we'd be happy to hear from you. Or if you have a story you want to share or bring to our awareness to have it brought up on air, we are willing to do that too. So thanks for joining us today, and
Paramera signing out.
have a great one.